Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we have another thread with a lot of dev responses with a title called 41 Lords in Prison and Still No Peace, patch 1.5.10. So it looks like there is a problem that a player is having, and we have some dev responses to clear up, the problem. So let's get straight to it. I'll link this down below, and let's do it. Alrighty, so the original post says, when should a faction sue for peace? We have 41 lords in prison and they are still fighting us back. In 1.5.10, the automatic ransom is now a choice to accept or decline, and I declined all and put them in prison as I could see my allies were doing the same. But I never expected to fight for so long and they still not giving up. I don't mind, but then again, is there immersion in this? Would a faction not sue for peace and ransom its lords? They have no chance of winning at this point. Okay, so it looks like he has a lot of prisoners and they're still fighting back. Now, immersion-wise speaking, yeah, sometimes, people don't give up. Regardless of what the problem is, they don't give up, right? But I guess for gameplay-wise, maybe this is a problem. What's it called? Interesting. It depends how much lords they have left, right? So if you've got 41 of their lords, which looks like a lot, right? And it looks like your strength is way higher than their strength. How much people do they actually have left is the question. Alrighty, and oh my god. Bro, you see, listen, because I want to make more positive content, because I made a lot of the content of just going over these terrible takes over and over again, and I remember the people who made those terrible takes, and now I just keep seeing them in these threads where someone is asking a general question, an actual question, trying to get a response, and you have people who literally have nothing else, like nothing productive to say, that come in here and just do this. You know what I mean? It's just... Oh my god, it's just so annoying at this point. It's actually... All right, let's go to the dev. So the dev says, your enemy already wanted to make peace, or your enemy already want to make peace. They're ready to pay you $2,460 per day, which is a really good amount. In current design, all war/peace are voted only in one side. Oh yeah, that's also true. I forgot to mention that. I forgot to look at this. Oh yeah, so look. Okay, so this isn't even like a bug or anything like that. So one thing that I forgot to mention is in Bannerlord, the enemy can't make peace with you. This right here, you need to vote on it. It's player wise. It's player driven. If a player is part of a kingdom, then in a way, no, how can I explain this? What's it called? Because I don't know, there should have been a little bit more information given. Because it looks like in this situation, the player is part of the Aserai, right? But he's not the head of the Aserai. Therefore, the AI will make peace. They will vote on it eventually, or I'm pretty sure you can start the vote, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe not. But if you were the ruler, then regardless of the fact the AI that's against you will never make peace, you will have to actually make peace yourself. But in this situation, having that many prisoners actually made it so you will receive tributes per day because you have all these prisoners. So in a way, it's working as intended. But let's see what the data say. There is no double side voting, so amount you see, 2,460 dinars, is the amount nearly all enemy clans are agreed on. They are ready to pay that amount daily. So voting will be on your side. Do your clans accept getting this tribute to end the war or not? When you want to end the war, you can accept their tribute offer. There it is. So like you have to make the action yourself. There it is. And then we have another player saying, am I interpreting this correctly, that the AI kingdom who initializes the war is the one that must ask to end it? Clearly the player can suggest both ways, but is that how it works if the player doesn't take an active role? So if the player is not involved at all and is not part of any of the kingdoms that are at war currently, then the AI will sort it out themselves. But if the player is in the middle of that exchange, then it has to kind of like be the player who initializes it. That's pretty much how it works. But Dev says both sides can do voting inside, but there will only be one voting. Both sides have a different tribute amount shown to inside clans. For example, in above sample, Azrai C Western Empire can pay 2,460 dinars daily for peace, and it seems 90% of Azrai clans are okay with this amount. If player changes sides and becomes a vassal of the Western Empire, at the same moment he will probably see Azrai wants something like 3,000 dinars daily for peace. Any side can go voting inside and accept to take/pay tributes. Then peace will happen without asking again other kingdom. This is not a perfect system, but currently things are working like this. So what he means by this, if you guys are a little bit confused, is depending on what side you're on, like for example, example above, you can see that they're willing that if you vote and you're on the Azrai side, 90%, not all 100%, 90% of people are fine with the 2,460. But if you go on the Western side, you are going to have to pretty much vote on their behalf, and you're going to see that 100% of the Azrai clans want 3,000. That's the actual thing that they want if all of them are on board, right? And when you're on the Western side, you have to kind of, it's really hard to explain, but just bare bones, if you're part of that kingdom, you have to do the voting. That's pretty much what it means. And then, percentage-wise and all that, dinar-wise, it's kind of irrelevant. It's kind of all on the screen there for you to see, but yeah. And then we have another person saying, I think the OP is saying that given that the enemy wants to make peace, it is created they are not sending offers to make peace to OP's kingdom. That's the dev knows what you're saying, and I know what you're saying. It's just that's how the game works. That's how the gameplay works. You know what I mean? The player has to initialize it. That just is what it is, unfortunately. I would love if the AI did more stuff towards the player. I've talked about this previously a lot, that we need a lot more functions where the AI goes to the player, or the AI goes to the player and says, hey, I want to join your clan, or goes to the player and says, hey, I want to make peace. I think that would really add a lot more life into the game, but unfortunately for certain systems like this, the player has to make the first move. And Dev says, I understand that as the player you want to see the enemy king beg to you. Exactly. This would be more satisfying for players and more immersive. Yes. However, our system is working as described above. Even if it is not the same, you can assume if they are ready to pay tribute to you, they already sent you an offer. So what he's saying pretty much is if you see that they are ready to pay you, it's kind of like the game's way of telling you that, hey, this is the offer they sent to you. Do you accept it? If so, vote on it. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what he means by that. While it's not a pop-up, while it's not somebody walking up and telling you, hey, we're ready for peace, this right here is kind of like a confirmation that says, yes, the enemy is ready for peace because they're willing to pay you instead of receiving tribute from you. Because if they are going to receive tribute from you, then they're not ready for peace, but they will do peace if you pay them. You know what I mean? But if they're going to pay you, that pretty much means they're ready for peace and they just don't want any more conflicts. They'll pay you to keep the peace. In a way, kind of like they sent that request to you. So that's kind of how it looks, And then we have another player saying, what is the reason that system isn't improved so that the messenger brings you offer for peace? Or like you said, it would be more immersive and it is not even 1 day of work. Okay, I don't know if it's the whole 1 day of work. I think it might be a little bit more than that. But I do agree they probably should have added it. I do agree on that fact. It probably should have been added. Dev says, even messenger brings that offer. You will see the same tribute amount which you see at the diplomacy tab. You will not see something different. So skipping these dialogues can be time consuming for player. Unfortunately, without changing all systems, only adding a messenger will not make much sense. I kind of disagree. I think it will add to the immersion of it and kind of make people, feel more in charge in a way. It'll be kind of like a good experience. I get it doesn't add anything extra, and it will just be like literally a person walking up to you and saying literally this, saying, hey, consider making peace, consider voting for it. You'll be receiving this much from us if you vote for peace with your kingdom. So that's pretty much all he would say. I still think it would be kind of cool to have. So it is unfortunate that we're not going to be able to see it. But again, it is what it is. I'm pretty sure some modder can probably make this happen in a way. You know what I mean? I think a modder can make this happen, definitely. But yeah, I wish more messengers were in the game. I do agree that that is something that the game is lacking, and it's unfortunate. But again, it is what it is. But yeah, that's kind of how this whole concept works of, you know, making peace and all that. If the player is involved, the player has to take the first step, if that kind of makes sense. And obviously right here at the bottom, it kind of shows you everything that you need to know. If you're going to be receiving or if you're going to be paying tributes. If you are going to be receiving tribute, that pretty much means that the enemy is ready for peace because they can't handle war. If the enemy wants you to pay them for peace, that means that they want more war, but they're going to be okay if you pay them instead. That's just kind of how it works. And yeah, there it is. Hopefully that was, you know, understandable. And yeah, ask me any questions and concerns, and like always, stay safe.